Booktubers choose what I read, a fun little twist.
I think you'll love it. I think you'll eat it up. I'm excited to see what you think.
We are off to a strong start. Like, there's annotations on almost every page. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray and I love to read. Today's video is going to be a really exciting one. I'm going to be doing a Booktubers Choose What I Reads video with a fun little twist. The booktuber that's choosing my read for today is none other than Madison Kate. I love Maddie's content. I think she has some of the most aesthetic content out there. I love her videos. They are absolute perfection, chef's kiss. So I'm really excited that she is picking a read for me for today. She actually chose a read for me in my last Booktubers Choose What I Read video, which if you haven't seen that, don't, because I did not know how to talk to a camera back when I first started posting on BookTube. I still don't know how to talk to a camera. She chose Beach Read for me last time, and after I finished reading the book, I gave it a 4.5 star, but after I thought about it for a couple months, it ended up being a 5 star. It just had a lot more depth to it than I was expecting, and I kept reflecting on it and I was like, no, yeah, that's definitely a 5 star. So I feel like she knows my taste pretty well. So I ended up sending her a little message and I asked her to pick a book for me to read, but then I thought, wait, how can I make this video a little more elevated? How can I make it different from what I've seen on BookTube before? So I thought, what better way than have her just tell you guys what book she picked for me and why she chose it for me. So I'm gonna let Maddie take it away and let you know what book she chose for me, why she chose it for me, and yeah, take it away, Mads.
Okay, hi, hello, beautiful. It has come to my attention that I never actually sent this because the email never sent, and then I just went to look for the original clip that I filmed telling you what book you had to read because I chose it, and I couldn't find it. So I must have deleted it, so we're back again. And I am going to make you read Oneformyenemy because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you've read any Olivia Blake. So if this is your first Olivia Blake, I'm excited for you. If it's not, and you just are like about to experience the world of Oneformyenemy for the first time, I think you'll love it because I think that you could love a little romance set in a Shakespeare setting. I think you will eat it up. So I'm excited to see what you think, but my pick for you is going to be Oneformyenemy. So love you.
Okay, so Maddie chose Oneformyenemy by Olivia Blake for me. I'm so excited to get into this book. This book has been on my TBR for such a crazy long amount of time that I just feel like I needed that push to get it read and get it off my TBR. The only thing I know about this book is that it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in New York City, and from what I know about my reading taste from the last year is that the last book that I read that was a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in an urban setting was Red City by Marie Lu, which ended up being my top read of 2025. So if there's one thing about me, I'm gonna love a good Shakespeare retelling. I was someone who in high school absolutely loved Shakespeare. I loved reading his plays. Fun fact, I got to go to Verona and visit Juliet's balcony from Romeo and Juliet. I got to see the balcony scene. I have this little knickknack from there of her balcony, and it was just such a highlight moment of my life being able to see that in real life for someone who really loved reading Shakespeare in school. All I know about this book is that it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in New York City, and I think I could really end up loving it. So I am excited. I feel like Maddie knows my taste pretty well. She recommended Beach Read to me. All of the books that I've read that are recommended from her, like Magnolia Parks, have been really high star rated books for me. So I think she knows my taste pretty well, and so I'm really excited to read this. Let's get into reading Oneformyenemy. It's about time. It's about time. I needed someone to push me to read this book, and I'm glad that Maddie did. So thank you, Maddie, for being part of this video. Let's get to reading. I'm very excited. As always, go grab your favorite drink, grab a book, and come hang out and read with me. Got my hair done. It's Friday, so it's the end of the week, and I'm done work and I'm excited to just sit and read and just get into my book. I did take One for My Enemy with me to the hair salon, but I just ended up just responding to work emails and things like that. Really excited to get back into my book. It would have been a great opportunity to read if I wasn't scared for like my book getting wet or like hair all over it or just like getting bleach on it by accident, whatever it might be. So I didn't take my book out. I did want to go sit at a cafe and read for a little bit, but I had just spent money on doing my hair, so I thought I should probably just make a coffee at home and read at home. But long story short, I'm not that far into One for My Enemy. I did want to finish it by Saturday, so by tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I'm really enjoying it. The first chapter, I only had time the first night I started to read the first chapter, and I was absolutely just like enthralled with it. I just wanted to get into the book more, but I didn't have time. And that first chapter, I don't know why, but it just like gave me Red City vibes, and I was like, okay, we are off to a strong start. This is gonna be good, and I'm just like getting really into it. I'm only like 40 pages in, maybe a bit less than that, maybe 30 pages, but I'm really liking it so far. I think this one has the potential to be one of my potential top reads of the year. We'll see how it goes. Like, it's not the same story as Red City, but I'm getting similar vibes in the way that Red City made me feel, so I'm really excited to keep getting into it. I am really liking it so far. It's one of those books where like you're so giddy getting into it because you've been wanting to read it for so long, and then you're finally in it and you're just like, it's just getting better and better and better. And I'm just, like I said, I'm someone who absolutely loves Shakespeare in school, so like all the little notes to Shakespeare in the book, like all the little lines from Romeo and Juliet, I'm just absolutely loving. Like, it excites me and it makes me want to go back and reread all of Shakespeare's plays. So I really do think that Shakespeare retellings are my thing. I think they're right up my alley, and I don't know why I didn't read them sooner. So really enjoying it so far. I'm excited to get more into it today. We'll see where the day gets us. I'm about 240 pages in, and if you had told me at the beginning of this video that this book was going to potentially be a 5-star for me, I probably would have believed you because of the whole Shakespeare thing and everything. But I am loving this book. I love her writing style. I think her writing style is so gripping. This story is so intriguing to me, but I just feel like all the Shakespeare-esque of it is what's really drawing me in, and just I'm getting giddy when I'm seeing little notes to Shakespeare throughout the book, and I'm just really loving it. I feel like if you're someone who maybe doesn't have the connection to Shakespeare that I have and the love that I have for his stories and his writing and all of that, you might not find this book as fast-paced or as gripping, but I'm finding every element of it so gripping, and I'm just absolutely loving it. And it's just one of those books where I wish I picked it up sooner, but I'm not wanting it to end at all. Like, I want to be in this story forever and ever and ever. I just feel like her writing style is so uniquely her, and I feel like the story is just something that every single time I pick up the book, it's just, you don't forget. Like, I've been reading this book for a while, but it also feels like no time at all. Like, I'm still in the story every single day, even though I haven't had as much time to read. Like, there's annotations on almost every page, and I just feel like that's telling enough that it just reads well. I feel like the characters are all so unique, and I feel like she's someone who's not scared to kind of just go at her characters and do the worst and see how they come out of it. It's also very easy to read. One thing that I was really nervous about with her writing, because I've heard that she can sometimes write in a pretentious manner, I don't find that with this book. Like, I feel like this is a very easy read and it's not too complicated. I'm just finding this an easier read than I thought. So I was very intimidated just by that pretense that she has very pretentious type of writing, but I'm not finding that in this book at all. So if you were like me and you were nervous to get into her books because you've heard that before, I would say go for it and try it out, because I'm surprised at how easy of a read that it is compared to what I thought it was going to be. So don't let that scare you. Pick up the book. It is making me kind of think of Red City a little bit in terms of kind of the overall premise of the whole Romeo and Juliet retelling star-crossed lover side of it. And every single time she does something in the book, I'm kind of thrown a little bit. I feel like there's constant tension and feuds being built up, and I'm so scared what the ending is going to be like. And because it's not a series, like, this is all I get. This is the ending I have to stick with. This is it. So it is very gripping. Her storytelling is gripping, and I'm very intrigued by it. I'm on page 242 out of, I think there's 404 pages. So I'm over halfway through, and I'm just really enjoying being in this story. And it's just, I wish I picked it up sooner, but I will be reading more of her books. I love the way that she tells the story, but it could also just be the Shakespeare aspect of it that's making me really feel like I love this story. I do find that that is what's really keeping me in the book and the story, and it's what made me intrigued about the story. I'm not even done, and I feel like it's going to be a 5-star, so we'll see how it goes. But that's my update right now. I'm really loving her gripping storytelling, and I'm really loving just all the characters have so much that you love about them, but also so much that you hate about them. And I feel like it just makes for a very interesting plot and storyline. And I feel like we have some characters who you love them because their hearts are kind, but then they're also very ruthless. Like they go from one extreme to the next, and you're like, do I like this person? Do I hate this person? And you just like, you want the best for a lot of these characters. So it's all just really confusing. Like she's doing a good job at making you really like the characters and connect to them, but also making you like hate them in certain moments of uncertainty, and like the decisions they're making and the consequences of their decisions is all just a big mess right now. But it's very interesting, and I'm really liking the story, and I could be in this story forever and ever and ever. I love it so much. And I do think that Shakespeare retellings are my thing. I think that I will eat up any Shakespeare retelling. So if you have any suggestions, leave them below, because I feel like those types of books are going to always be 5 stars for me. They're just such interesting things, but it's also, I think, my connection to Shakespeare's stories and tragedies. I guess I just loved tragic endings from a very young age in storytelling. So that's my update. Just feel like I haven't talked to you in a little while, and I just wanted to give you an update that I'm really enjoying this book, and I think it's really good. I think it's going to be one of those books that I'm going to think about forever and ever and ever, just like Red City was last year. And so yeah, I'm excited to get back into it. Hopefully I can get a good chunk into it today and hopefully finish it tomorrow. I'm not going to try to even hope that I finish it today. I feel like that's so unrealistic, but hopefully over today and tomorrow I can finish it, get my final thoughts and reviews. But right now it's feeling like it could be a 4.75 to 5-star book. So, and I feel like she has like really beautiful one-liners here and there, but she also does a really good job at giving each character very unique, differentiated character traits. Even from the first page in the first chapter, she describes the characters so well that we're getting to know the families on both sides and the kids. She describes them in just a few sentences so well, and you get to see those personality traits come out throughout the book. And I went back and reread it after I got to know the characters a little bit more, and it was just so true to their characters. But the way that she just was able to do that on the first page, describe them in 1 or 2 sentences, was just, it blew my mind how well it was done. Those are my thoughts about the book right now, but I will come back when I'm done or when something crazy happens and we'll chat more about it. But I'm gonna get back to reading, and I will see you in a little bit. I finished reading One For My Enemy, so let's talk about it. One For My Enemy is an urban fantasy romance set in New York City with 2 witch crime families. We have the Antonova sisters, which honestly the entire time I was reading the book I was pronouncing the last names Antonova, but I watched an interview with Olivia Blake and she was saying Antonova, so yeah, we're gonna pretend like I was saying that the entire time. So we're following the Antonova sisters, who are 7 sisters, and their leader is their mom, Baba Yaga, and we're also following the Fedorov brothers, who are 3 brothers who are led by their father, who goes by Koschei the Deathless. And these are 2 families who are constantly fighting to stay on top. After 12 years of tenuous coexistence, something happens where it offsets the balance of power between the families, and it kind of strikes up this open war between the 2 families. There's a lot of hostilities and grudges that come to light, and all that past tension that comes back up to the surface, which forces the kids to kind of choose where their loyalty lies and who they can trust. And as trust starts to crumble around them, they're really forced with making decisions and dealing with the consequences of those decisions within their families. As things start to get really crazy and spiral, you're kind of seeing how all of the decisions that are being made are leading to the potential takedown of these 2 empires that these families have created. So we're getting this really intense family feud, which is where the Romeo and Juliet side of things play into. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in New York City, and that's what drew me in about the book. I recently read Red City last year and I loved it, so I just felt like something like this would be up my alley. I did settle on a 4.5, 4.75. I'll put up my final rating on the screen, but I do think it's between a 4.5 and 4.75. There was something missing about this book for me. It wasn't entirely a 5-star. I would have felt that right away, and I was kind of going back and forth. So I was like, if I'm feeling this way now, it's probably not a 5-star. So I am gonna lean on like a 4.5 to 4.75, maybe closer to the 4.5 range. But what I really liked about it was the Romeo and Juliet retelling of it. I thought it was done really well. It was done in a really unique way, and I really enjoyed seeing how that played out. And I feel like we didn't just get one storyline of the Romeo and Juliet retelling part of it. We also got a little bit more of it within another couple in the book that I won't say because that would spoil part of the book, but I feel like we were getting little nodes of Romeo and Juliet between these 2 couples, and it was just very interesting and fascinating. And I feel like every time there was a node to Shakespeare or something came up within, or there was something kind of alluding to Romeo and Juliet, the play, I just found myself like giggling and like so excited, and it made me really realize that I just want to reread all of Shakespeare's plays at some point. But I really enjoyed that part of it. I thought the Romeo and Juliet part of it, the retelling, was done really well in such a unique and fresh way. I did tear up at certain parts, and I feel like with something like a Romeo and Juliet retelling where it's been done multiple times in books and TV and film, I feel like it can be hard to kind of twist it into a new narrative and make it something fresh while still respecting the overall storyline. And I feel like Olivia Blake did a really good job with playing out that storyline within this book. I feel like I saw Olivia Blake talk about this in an interview, but she wanted to answer the overall question of what would happen if Romeo and Juliet came back just wanting revenge. And so she kind of took that inspiration as the overall question of this book, and you could see that that really played out in this book of what would happen if they came back with like a very revenge forward mindset. And she did that really well in this book. I feel like we got to see a lot of the whole struggle with loyalties of like your family's your blood, you need to stick by them, but then they're making all these decisions that are just causing more issues and just making things harder for everybody. And it's hard to stick by something you don't believe in, but we saw that struggle with some of our characters of sticking with their families and that loyalty, and also just doing what's right and like the consequences of their decisions in doing what they did. It was very fast paced too. I feel like I was engaged right from the beginning. It did take me about 2 weeks to read this book, but for no other reason that I was busy. My sister came to visit, we were busy hanging out and doing stuff, and I didn't read too much during that time. But this book was really fast paced, and I feel like the pacing, like there was always something happening, which I really liked about it. Like you were never bored. There was always something happening, and I really enjoyed that about this book. I thought she did that really well. The pacing was great. However, the things that kind of knocked it down from like a 4.75, a 5-star, to a 4.5 for me, there was a couple things. I feel like I wasn't overly emotionally invested in the characters, if I'm being honest. I feel like when certain things happen to the characters in another book where I got more backstory and I got to know the characters a little bit more and their struggles and how they got to where they were, it would have hit me. I would have felt very emotional, but there were certain things that happened where I didn't really shed a tear, and it felt weird to not shed a tear at certain points of the book where things were happening because I wasn't feeling overly emotionally connected. And I feel like with a standalone book like this, you're not going to get every single part of everyone's backstory. There's just not enough time in a book like this, but I do feel like it could have been longer to give us a little bit more of that backstory, so I could have felt a little more emotionally connected. By the end of it, I did shed a tear or two, but it wasn't the impact that I wanted from a book like this. And so I just feel like because of that, it just knocked it down a little bit for me. But a 4.5 is still a great rating. Don't get me wrong. That's a really good rating. And I will be reading more books from Olivia Blake. I really liked her writing style and I liked the pace of her book, but I didn't connect as emotionally to it as I wanted to. And I think that I was comparing it a lot to Red City when I was reading it. And I just feel like Red City really packed a punch with the way that it made me feel. And it really made me sad and cry. And I had a whirlwind of emotions with that book. And there were so many things that happened that were so final in that book. There were so many things that happened in Red City that just really, really made me feel so much. And this book, I guess, because they're similar in storylines, like there's both have two rival families, one has a rival crime syndicate, and there's just so many similarities that I couldn't help stopping myself comparing this to that. And I feel like if I read this before Red City, it might have been a 5-star, but because I read Red City first, I was comparing a lot of the aspects of the books to one another, and I think that's what ultimately also dropped it down. Is just Red City made me really emotionally invested in the characters I was reading about, and this one didn't quite get there. But I think that if you love this book, you'll love Red City, and if you love Red City, you'll really enjoy this book as well. I think they are similar-ish storylines, and I do think they follow similar themes as well. Like a big thing was the consequences of your decisions and what happens and how things are just a domino effect. Even if it's like the smallest little thing, it can lead to a lot more. And I think that was kind of some of the overall messaging from both books. But I did enjoy this book, and I do think that Shakespeare retellings are completely for me. So if you have any other recommendations for Shakespeare retellings and books, I would love to pick those up. I would love to do a video on just Shakespeare retellings because I feel like I would find a lot of 4 or 5-star reads in those videos. But I really enjoyed this book overall. I gave it a 4.5-star rating, and I am going to be reading more of her books. But yeah, I do think that if you liked this book, you should definitely read Red City. It was just so much more intense, but I really did enjoy this, and I was so excited and enjoying my time the entire time I was reading this that I'm gonna make my mom read it because I make her read everything that I read and love. Those are all my thoughts. If you stayed this long, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up with my content, and I hope to see you in the next one.